everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we're here to take a look at Close Your Eyes and their track X. We have the music video and dance practice pulled up. I have not seen them since I believe their pre-debut work, so I'm looking forward to it. And this is a Patreon request. Shout out to Kalish for the request. I'm ready. I hope you guys are. Let's watch. Paradigm. Ooh. I like the vibrato for this. Nice. I like how he sounds. Nice. That does give X-Men the like the room itself, but it's just not that white. Wow. It definitely settles in that 2000s boy band sound. Wow. That was cool. I really like the transition. Okay. And boop, Frozen. Yeah. Okay, let's look at who our choreographers are. Oh, wait, maybe I should look here. Okay, Autumn Lee, and then dancers. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, that's executive business director. Choreography, Bips, and Team Same, which most likely means there's going to be a demo that exists. We'll see if we can find it. And then we have our dancers here. Love it. Okay, we're going to look at the dance practice now, and then I'm going to see if I can find a demo. Bips doesn't have a demo on this, now that I checked, which makes me a little sad, but it is what it is. Could be because it was a mixed bag with Team Same, and Team Same normally doesn't release demos, but I digress. Here we go. Dance practice with the dancers. I'm looking forward to seeing a fixed cam. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh! Basket runs die hard, don't they? Wow. I like it so much more as a fixed cam. Somebody bumped into each other. It happens. Nice. Nice. Cool. Nice. Ooh, that was cool. Nice. We're running. Nice. Cool. XXX. G. Na, na, na. Nice. Nice. Really nice. That was really cool as a fixed cam. Okay, from the top we go. There were some parts that I do wish that I had subtitles so I could understand or see if it was more of a wordplay choice, if anything. But we're gonna sit here and enjoy. We have it at 0.5. We're gonna walk through, talk about the performance side, formations, composition, transitions. I like that we have the rotation around from the dancers as they come up, and I like the reveal of the members. They take it, they rotate around. I like the assist of a member going to a feature. They open it up from the back to the front. Then a new feature comes in the scene. I like the rotation. They turn, looks like it's mirrored. And then I like the framing with the angles at the top. Then the dancers, it looks like their arms are low. The rest of the members, their arms are high. A nice way to have a differentiation between the members and the dancers, regardless of what they wear, but also if you want to see your members featured as much as possible. They open it up. I like the rock back on the hips is cool. Notice the level here. I don't know if it's because of a height thing or what, but my guy right here, I believe he was from Boys Planet, if I'm remembering right, because he ended up through the show Project 7, which I've reviewed all the challenges. I just didn't watch the episodes. So I am familiar enough with at least some of them, not knowing whether or not I've looked at them even though I wasn't aware of who they were, if that helps. The pulls are fun with the shoulder. They open it, drag it back, arms go up. Then they accent, boom, they do a nice little head on that. Then they press it into the chest. I love that choice. Oh, but my point though that I was saying, it was nice to see the feature, and I think part of it was because of his height and everybody else was hinged a bit, so you could really see him. So that was cool. From here, the head ISO is nice. Dancers are lower, meaning they're bent more in the knees as well as in the body. So where, yes, your members are doing the same thing, the arms match, but you can see a subtle difference between your dancers and your members. They slide it in. I like that. The only person out of everybody who was sliding to not be sliding the same way was our feature. Nice way to do that. Then it looks like a ripple, 4-part ripple, where they pose high. And then some of our members, looks like they're posing a little bit more individual, low, more internal. All the other dancers, their arms are framing out. So that's cool. They open it up, press it to the inside. I like that we rotate it. Members face front, dancers face outside. That's cool. We look up, you have the little tick tick moment there because you hear the ticking on the clock. So they have this tick with a subtle reverb, and they'll look over to the direction. Dancers run away. I like now that we're with our members, so they accent with the shoulder to speed change. They move to a new spot. Feature deviates. He does his own thing, lives his life. Then it looks like the only person not doing the finger forward is the next feature, which is in center. So I like that the gestures play a huge priority and a huge intention into who we need to focus on. Because part of it, yes, it'd be nice if our choreographers in the demo teams or whatever, they set up the feature for success and movement, but also it's on the feature themselves to create something charismatic or performance based that's smart and complementary to what exists already, so we can see them and appreciate them when it comes time to. So the accent with the knee is nice. I like that the pull was happening with the tension of the torso with the knee. So when you saw this body roll in the chorus, it wasn't unfamiliar in the legato and teasy moment because you were seeing it in the verse, but very subtly. So it was cool. So he does a little wave with the hand. It was a bit unclear to see that there, but it could just be me. But I like that his hand was nice and conversational and gesture based, and everybody else was using the shoulder more as a scoop to make it complimentary. It's all about compliments and collaboration. That's how you make a routine work when you got a bunch of features in it, which is pretty much most of the K-pop scene is group based. We trace it, we turn it. I like that we have this brush down from our feature here. They take it high to low, so we have levels. The pullback is nice. I like the dynamic of that. Then everybody joins in with that trace up, and then they bring the arm up, tracing it behind. I like the look on it too. Then we end up crossing it in front of the mouth. We drop it down. I like that you have your feature not super low compared to everybody else, but I like that they match it very well. They look front. Basket runs. It is something where if 90% of the time you're going to see this routine with dancers, not from a fixed cam shot, it doesn't matter. But if you are, that is a missed creative opportunity where you can have your dancers come back in instead of just running, because when you see them squat hunched over and run, they're not supposed to be a distraction, but they still are because you're seeing them move in the frame whenever there's other things going on. But that's just a me thing. I know that. And because of my experience in seeing it in the competition choreography world, that's such a note that it's given so often. So I'm just sensitive to it. It's life. I know my own preferences and my own shortcomings. So I like that pull, or what was it? They were creating tension. So back on the boys here, they open it up, they pull it in. So he says, come here. So now your dancers are moving front. Now there's a different level. So I like that. So they have it, they're going tap, tap, and then they open it up, and then they have it framed around where you have a hand in front and a hand behind, and now everybody is on the same page. Let's go. And then we open it, boom, great tension, boom, with a drop level. And then they hit it low, good fullness, and then we pull it, and then we send it forward with these drags with the lower body. We rotate with the wrist, we fold it down, we open it up. I like the crossover with that elbow. Great range. There's a lot of unison for this part, so that's why I found it interesting. Where it's cool and I can appreciate the dance, but we've already kind of seen that. We're going to take that as a familiar moment there. And then we open it up, and then we do a little body roll. That was nice. And then we look like we're doing a transition. We got a V, and then we got two diagonals. We open it. I love the fact that we got that camera shaking because we're all on the same page in that stomp. Then we rotate. There was a little bit of a hiccup where some of our space, we didn't have enough space in order to get to our spot. I'm going to treat that like a one-off because it's a one take. But I just covered Alpha Drive 1. They had a dance practice behind the scenes. We looked at that, and that was a component that they worked on with the director, is figuring out the traffic jams whenever they had to go from an OT8 formation to an OT7 formation, which is a good thing to work through at times. It sucks that you have to do it, but sometimes it's good to work through it. But in the case here, that just looks like a one-off. It doesn't look like an unfixed traffic jam. There is a lot of unison, which I'm not unfamiliar with, and sometimes a routine conceptually calls for it. And then we just have different members, at least in mirroring and imbalance. They're moving to a new spot while they're doing content, so we have different angles in play. I am curious what this would look like as an aerial shot compared to a straight front, because that can change the look of this as well. The pull away with the shoulder is nice. They pull away, then they cross, they bring it out, and they have a reverb, and then now we're facing back. That entire thing was in unison. The rest of it, though, leading up to the chorus wasn't, so that's probably why it didn't come across as, what is it? lazy, because sometimes movement and choreography can come across that way. Not lazy to the dancer, but lazy in the composition creation. I don't think it is that, but I am going to be more sensitive to that second chorus, though. I felt it in the music video, which can make it cinematically look nicer when everybody's doing the same thing. But the pull of the body roll is nice. It's just whenever you're doing the same dynamic the whole time in a section, it is hard to appreciate other areas, and you can end up digesting, and the moment becomes stale, because even if a dance is really, really complex, if you're not giving me any breathers through supplementing in levels, in ripples, in breakoffs, in add-ons, in other things that help me be reintroduced to the content, then I'm just eating, and I'm not appreciating any of it because you're just asking me to look at it in a certain way, right? So that's why sometimes combos can come across that way, is when you don't see a deviation, such as mirroring or levels or things like that. It can feel like, okay, I'm watching it and it looks cool, but I'm not able to appreciate it because I'm oversaturated by movement. Here, I think the transitions really helped, but I do think other elements could be even more beneficial to that section, unless a logistic of time, how much time we had to work on it, or other factors can play a role too. So I'm not ignorant of that, but it is something that I am recognizing here. So they bring it up and around, because that body roll that we end up seeing in all of this would be really nice and I would be able to appreciate it, but I just watched 2 to 4 8 counts already leading up to this of everybody doing the same thing. Does that make sense? So that's why, yeah. But now we walk to a new part and we are still in unison. The steps with the tension is nice. They rotate it, we open it up. Oh, that's really nice. And then we just move with a different person in front. Still unison. We look to the side, we hit, and we open it out. And then we create a nice interruption there, and then we move to a new spot. And then we have a pull, and then it starts a different verse. So I am going to give that as, I'm hopeful that we're not going to do the exact same thing in course 2, because then it really is going to come across the ways that I had mentioned as, warnings. Even though this isn't a competition in choreography, a lot of people are exposed to that, and a lot of K-pop choreographies nowadays are structured that way, which is why I think it's okay to at least just be aware of those precautions. Because the verses shouldn't be the only thing where you package and frame it in interesting ways. You can absolutely do this in the courses, but it's not just here. There's so many other cases where I've noticed it in the 5th gen space of course choreography just being unison. So it's okay that we can have that conversation. I'm not holding it against anybody. I like the group there. We hit it high, low. I like the interruption, ding, ding, ding on that. And then they're moving. I love this. Like, that's sick. And they're moving through the height of that's great. He opens it high, low. And then you have other people moving from the back. A lot of mechanics on it. So I like that they have it folded. He looks. We open it up, bringing it down, and then we slide it. And then in the crossover, great way to do an add-on. Like, this is sick. Which is what makes me always question when I see it in the chorus. Why is the chorus in unison? Is it for challenges? Because that's normally what people opt for, and that's what my assumption is. But it's happened so often now that it's starting to condition to the standard, and I would love for that to not be the case. But that's just me. Yeah, there we go. So they do the body roll down, all that. I love the push on that, the pulse on the environment. Like, this whole verse 2 is sick. I love it. So nice. Now they do a curve, they open it. I like the openness there. They hit it, nice fullness. And I love the ripple of the height, but it also is in levels where I even had people rotate low and then those rotated high. That was so cool. Then we had the dancers do a secondary ripple to reset up. This is sick. Wow. I don't know who was in charge of verse 2, but they knocked it out of the freaking park. Wow. I love the bevel with the tension on the shoulder. Now, here's another thing that I want to entertain for discussion. By having your course, the entire course, be in unison, did it help us become really, really sensitive to dynamics in the verse? Maybe, because I'm really clocking so many elements here that did not exist previous to this. So, I may chalk it up to that. We'll see. So they open it up, they bring the arms and energy through, they sit in the hips. That's really nice. They toss away We're here for it. Dancers move away, then they clap, clap. Now it's the members doing the choreography. Is it going to be unison? Let's see. Reverb, na na na, pull. You open it high, low, open it up. Then they have tension on the pull in. They reverb. Little body roll, a little head ISO. And then we have them move to a new spot through content. So I do like the fact that we are moving to a spot, but we're not just moving there by walking. We are doing content to get there. Tension is nice. So it is basically the same. Open it up, drop it to the ground, kick it out. That's cool. And I love this where you have a level deviation. They didn't do that in the first chorus. So that was nice. The knock on the shoulder is cool where they go shoulder and then fist. And then we open it, we rotate it, and then we knock. New spot going into your bridge to go into your final chorus. So it looks like we're letting our legs lead us to the next part of our formation. We open it up. Love that. And we turn. And we slide and slide with our own individual pose, but notice that it is pretty balanced because we have a mid, high, and then lowish, and then a low, mid, low, where, you know, it's not like one side is all doing the exact same thing. You have variety, which is good. You like that. Whether a direction of the body or what, but they're matching dynamic, which we like. There's tension there. That's cool. We move it through. Here we go. We hit it out in, and then I like the deviation where you have your member be an outlier in the corner. They end up bringing the foot in. They send it up and around. Arms go up. They pull down, and then they bring it in with the shoulder and the foot to complement, and then they reset to the front. I like the high, low, and then they bring it across. They double it, cross and cross, and they send it elbow, elbow there. We hop it. I like the slide. Dancers have now joined back in. How did they join back in? They just walked. We're here for it. I also like the level difference because you have your members be lower and your dancers be higher. That's cool. And even there, that's cool. I love that we made it a moment. Even if it's not supposed to be the main moment, it still contributes. We love it. So here we go. Boom. We're walking. Subtlety. Love it. Now, the key to doing a slow motion walk, would you like to hear about it? I learned this from Mary Poppins, of anybody. Mary Poppins is a well-known popper. She's part of the team Femme Fatale. This was a very interesting note she gave. Whenever you walk, it shouldn't look like I'm going in slow motion. I'm doing something normal but slowly is a better way to think about it. Instead of I'm walking, because a lot of times we turn astronaut and it's like we're walking in space and everything's exaggerated. But when you want it to look like its own moment, like you are, like time is stopped, just think about doing whatever task you're doing, but slowly. Take your time. And that tends to help. And also your weight shifts adjust slightly because you're moving through a particular motion longer than you normally would. So it's going to affect differently how your weight adjusts. But I digress. I love the head on that. That's cool. And then you have it looks like mirrored. I like it with the elbow. Then you have the dancers go back to a nice semicircle. They hit. Now, this is also something I noticed. It does look like we don't have a lot of dancers and threaded in the formation. It looks like we had the dancers learn the dance separately, the members learned it separately, and then they had 1 or 2 rehearsals, and then they put it together. This is still very, very nice, and I don't mind it, but a component of what can make a dance really look like a full-fledged effort and really embedded like this, where if you take the dancers out, would it still look the same? Of course not, but to where it wouldn't function. This dance would still function without the dancers. But in order to make it to where the dancers are so needed that it can't function, you got to thread them throughout the routine. And here it doesn't really give that intention. An example of a group that I have noticed that happen in a really cool way is SB19. If you look at their work, I would say Dom as an example is a really, really good one. Now, this is a really good example of if that is the case that I had mentioned where the dancers learned it and they came in, where it looks very nice, but you are given more of a hovering outside dancer support compared to the dancers are in it with the members. It just depends on the amount of time, because that's a huge one there. So I like the kick out of that, and the accent is cool. They bring it in, rotate it out, and then we are back to unison. They hit XX, They rotate it through and they pulse, pulse. Then I like that we use this to condense the formation and the dancers stay in the semicircle. We open it up, tension around, and we pull. Dancers now move out, basket run again. Then there's your tension there, down to the floor. Come on now. So they hit it, chest, elbow to hit it, lock it around, and then they open it up, sending it through. I like the leg, using that to help in the transition to a bridge recover here. Nice. And they pull it in, they go double, double, and then they open it back up. I like the swivel sway. Body roll looks nice here. He hits it. I like that we have our member stop and slow it down. Everybody else creates nice fullness there. They open, open. There's your X. Hit as you swoop it. Nice. And then we bring it up, sending it down. The hop is nice. And then we have tension on the finishing point. So in general, I really enjoyed it. The only observation that I'm seeing as an area that would be really cool to see what they would do with it is the course. Adding something dynamically that really helps break up the sections to where you can appreciate the subtleties versus the fullness a little bit easier. And that's why dynamics exist, is for that. But in general, I really like this. Thank you, Kalish, for the request. And it's nice to see them here. They look like a group. They don't look like 7 people who survived a survival show together. So that's always good to see. And of course, it makes me curious about their other works. And we'll look at them in due time to kind of compare and contrast this one in their discography. Is this a usual thing? Is this a pattern thing? Or is this just a one-off? I don't know, but I'm excited to continue to dive in with you guys. My name is Jess, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Bye.